Hey guys, today we'll see how to create a computed column in D365 entity. So we'll take a scenario. So first of all, we'll write steps here. Okay, so there are total three steps to create a computed column. First one is create unmapped field. Create unmapped field in entity. And then you need to make sure your computed column property is yes. And the second is you need to write your code. Okay, and then the field that you have created here, you will simply need to map that particular method. And the third one is you need to update your staging table. Okay, so let's quickly jump into Visual Studio. We'll see. The first thing is that I will create a unmapped field here, and I will say here this has packing slip latest. Okay, so this would be my name of my field, and here I will create a new method, and so we'll create a static method here. Okay, so here, so I can say it as public static server, and the return type would be here str. I can remove the comments here. Okay, so I will save this. Okay, so here let me scroll this. Okay, we are getting error. We should return something, so I will write a blank statement here. Return window 3, so that will not get this error. See, so let's start writing here our logic. So what we'll do here. So basically we'll use something called SysComputedColumn. Okay, we'll use this class. Okay, and now we will simply get the rec ID of our so there's a table called when packing slip jar, so we'll simply get the rec ID of that field. Okay, I think I will simply write the SQL query. I will not use this one. So first of all, we'll write a SQL query in our SQL Server Management Studio. So the query that I'll be writing here is select strict from. So I will use a table called when packing slip version, which hold the the vendor packing slip versions here. Okay, and then here I can simply write where when packing slip journal I need to use this table when packing slip version. Okay, and this particular table have a field named as when packing slip journal. Okay, and here I could simply type my when packing slip rec ID. Okay, so here let me put any random value here. So we'll use exactly the same query in our code. Okay, and then we'll do a order by of this table. So the field, so there's a field in when packing slip version table. The field name is version date and time. So I will use it as descending order, and since I will need only the first record here, so I could say select top one. Then I only need a field named as when packing slip version dot, here I will say internal packing slip. Yeah, this one. Okay, so we'll use exactly this particular statement here. So basically this will return this one. So here we need to write strfmt, and I'll simply open and close this one. Here you will need to write @ and here you could simply put your SQL statement. Okay, remove this from here and I will get this one here. So I need to change one thing here. So here I can easily get my rec ID. Oh, we simply can't get directly rec ID. So that's why now we'll need to use the SysComputed code here. So I will tell you what I'm trying to say in a second. So first of all, we'll need to define a variable. We'll say here when packing slip journal rec ID, because here we need the rec ID of our when packing slip journal. So for that I will use my SysComputed_column, and here we have a function called returnField, and here we need to pass three things like the table name, that is the data entity name, the data source of the entity, and the field name. So in our case we'll start first of all with our data entity name. So for that we'll write data entity view str. Here we'll write the name of our data entity. So the name of our data entity is this. I will simply copy this and I will put it here. So here I've written my data source name. Now the next, my entity name. Now I need to write my data source name. So for that I will write a keyword data entity data source str, data entity data source str. Here again I need to write name of my entity, and then I need to specify which data source I need. I need the when packing slip this is my actual data source name, and at then we need to pass the field name. So for that I will simply use a function called field str because we need a string value of field, and here I will say when packing slip journal, this one, and I need the rec ID of this field. Okay, so we are done. So now at the end I will pass this particular rec ID here. So I will quickly build this code, then I will again make you understand what we have done so far. Okay, so we forget here our entity name, so I will simply go to this field packing slip latest, go to properties here, and let me okay, this is okay, I think we haven't updated our staging table, so we'll need to do, that's why we are getting this error. So my staging table is ready now. I will do a build. Okay, I think I will need to put here the method as well. So let me click here. So you see here data entity view method. So I need to map this method as well. So our build is completed now. So now we will go back to our window. So we'll see our new computed column. So let me simply do here select a string from name of my data entity, that is when packing slip, this one. So let me execute. So you see here our new field is coming here. So this data is actually coming from a different table. So let's say select a string from when packing slip version. Okay, so you see this when you do this. If for example here we have this param ID. Okay, so let's do one thing here. So let me execute this table. So you see currently this particular purchase ID, okay, for this particular packing slip have this internal packing slip latest. So now when you pass this rec ID here, so you can simply say here when packing slip version, then you will put dot here, so you'll get that field, that is when packing slip journal. And when you say enter this, you type this. Okay, so here the internal packing this packing slip latest, that is actually it is internal packing list, so it would be these zeros and 1 here. So when I execute this query, so you see here we are getting the same result. So let me again try to reiterate everything here. So we simply created a new computed column. So for our computed column we need to make sure this is yes, and here we need to write express this code. So in this method we have written the code, then we updated our staging table. And now let us quickly see our method here. So the first thing you need to remember is that we have simply written a SQL statement here. We simply go to SQL. So to write strfmt, you put this here, and you simply write the query here. Since this will be dynamic, okay, so this will be dynamic, so that's why we have used this variable. And inside this variable we are using the SysComputedColumn return field. Here we are providing the name of our data entity, then the data source of our data entity, and here which field we need. So we are simply getting the rec ID of our when packing slip journal table here for every iteration of the field. And you see we are simply into, so if you open your table and you see you only have the data source of when packing slip journal, but at the same time you are able to get data from a different table, that is when packing slip version table. Yep. So thank you for watching this video.